If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first smash that like! Going in, baby, doom, it's a bloomer. The finale! But before we do that, I need you all to smash that like, and I'm gonna play you a beautiful new record. Yeah. Especially me in the background. I'm gonna need you all to smash that like. Mom, sir, Mom, I'm gonna need you to smash that like right now. If you don't, thank you. If you don't mind, I'm gonna need you to post that link in the Discord.
If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch,
what?
You must first invent the universe. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. This is a time of great danger. But our species is young and curious and brave. It shows much promise. In the last few millennia, we have made the most astonishing and unexpected discoveries about the cosmos and our place within it. I believe our future depends powerfully on how well we understand this cosmos in which we float like a mote of dust in the morning sky. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. The surface of the earth is the shore of the cosmic oceans. On this shore, we've learned most of what we know. Recently, we've waded a little way out, maybe ankle deep, and the water seems inviting. Some part of our being knows this is where we came from. We long to return, and we can, because the cosmos is also within us. We're made of star stuff. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe.
What up now? That's right.
Elegant truths.
Elegant truths.
Exquisite interrelationships.
Exquisite interrelationships.
Awesome machinery of nature.
Yeah!
The cosmos is full beyond measure. Elegant truths.
Elegant truths.
Of exquisite interrelationships.
Exquisite interrelationships.
Of the awesome machinery.
Awesome machinery.
Of nature.
Yeah! Brothers and sisters, make some noise. Welcome to the Meaning Stream. Welcome to the Meaning Stream. I got the number wrong in the title and everything. That's how deep we are today. How y'all doing out there? It's number 104 by Jove. 104 days and nights of going forth, being mighty, and getting the goodness and bless after it. Ooh, goodness and bless. Make some noise. Smash that like. Observe that epic shirt. What? Okay. Let that be splash. So say I. So say we all. 1, 2. What up, Rick Addlesey? Thank you for the £2 super chat. This is Dear Akira. Bring it. Oh, we shall. Welcome to the show, brothers and sisters. Tonight we're doing Doom at 2 Bloomer Part 3. The finale of the epic trilogy, in which we go on a journey from the mindset of a doomer to the mindset of a bloomer. I mean, this right here, this beat is from a song from my first album, back when I was reading lots of Christopher Hitchens, you know? I had a partially doomer mindset, you know? I thought a terrible idea to have kids. We're all doomed. We're awful. You know? What is a doomer? Well, a doomer is someone who believes in doomerism, a philosophy and a mindset that believes global problems, including but not limited to ecological exhaustion, such as overpopulation, peak oil, climate change. It was peak oil when I was a little guy. That doesn't exist anymore. Climate change and pollution will inevitably cause the collapse of civilization, significant losses in human population, and potentially lead to eventual human extinction. The ideology is defined in opposition to more optimistic outlooks on life. Doomers believe that government corruption, civilian apathy, and or structural oppression are unfixable. Oh, no. Well, anyway, we've been dealing with that over the course of these streams pretty powerfully, I think you can agree. But tonight, baby, it's the return of the Jedi. You know, the Empire struck back in the last one, but, you know, we came forth with a bunch of practical solutions. It's all well and good sort of imagining, well, how maybe things could be okay, maybe. The last time we came through a lot of practical ways that you could, you know, turn yourself into something powerful and useful and go out there and be of use in the world. You know how your life has a meaning if you so choose to accept that responsibility and don't be, you know, don't be there taking the easy way out of nihilism. Oh, nothing I can do. You know. But tonight we're gonna take it home, baby. We're taking it home. It's gonna be a slam dunk to Funk by Jove, or is it? Maybe the Doomer will win the day. As an optimist, I don't personally see that happening, but I don't know, maybe you. Maybe you'll see a different. What's a bloomer? What is a bloomer? A bloomer, well, a bloomer, it's someone with a bright outlook on life, who's optimistic in nature. Optimistic in nature. Bloomers frolic in every opportunity to be happy and try and make the most out of life. The opposite of a bloomer is a doomer, so therefore the opposite of a doomer is a bloomer. Yo! And that's what's going on, baby. We're going from doomer to bloomer. And tonight, we're in full bloom by Jove. To celebrate, we're wearing all black. That did not occur to me. What's that great Morrissey song? I wear black on the outside because black is how I feel on the inside. No, I'm wearing black because it's cool. It's a cool shirt. It says choose meaning. Yes, podcast listeners, I'm wearing a shirt that says choose meaning, and yes, you can buy one from Meaningwave.com, of course. How could it be otherwise? Choose meaning and choose meaningful garb. That's what we say around here. Yeah. Ow! So, we're going to check in. We're going to see how everyone's doing. We're going to encourage you to smash that like so more of your brothers and sisters get let in here so we can take this thing into orbit and we can get the show on the road. Brothers and sisters, for the International High Five today, I want just one reason to reject doomerism. And also let me know where your body be at. Where you at, baby? Where you at? You're in the MAZ right now, but where did you come from to get here? We are the Hard Body Self in Dripping Springs, Texas. Our soul is here in the MAZ. On board the Starship Wave Rider. Feels like it works. What up, Links Nathan? Thank you for the chat of super. Thank you for the support. Everybody who supports this thing. Yeah, what up, Audio Buffet Podcast? 10 thumbs up. 10 is good. We need more than 10. We need 100. Yeah. Just a start. Just a function. Yeah. Yeah. What up, David Ewing says, grateful to the Don from the bottom of my heart. Grateful to you, Dave Ewing. Today, Akira The Don completed work on the recording and mixing side of What's a Wave 20K and sent it over to Australia, where a man called James will apply the final polish and sculpting and get it really, 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 really nice. So that's pretty sweet, baby. Feeling very, very powerful. It was a very, very epic 2-week journey of album making. It was just really, really intense all day, every day between these streams. And we're carrying that energy directly into the next project, which I began about an hour ago. Just went straight into the next one. Feels like it works. Picking up speed. Meaningwave Masterpieces drops on Friday. Aye. What up, Maria Lezak says, life is as kind as you let it be. That's facts. Going for a quick walk to visit the geese that are visiting the farmer that is combining his crop to see... combing. See if he left anything behind. Combing crops is a good idea. I need a rake for my lawn. My lawn's coming in very nicely, but I'm thinking maybe it needs a raking. Does anyone know about lawns? Are you supposed to rake them? I've got a feeling mine needs a raking. Needs a good swift raking, by Jove. Yes! Let's see what's going on. Michael Keefe says, it's a daily thing for me and a constant growing process. Good for you. Ciao Flurry, tuning in from Brazil. Shouts out to Brazil all day. Ricardo sees here from Manchester, United Kingdom. Doomerism doth butter no parsnips. AKA complaining about shit, never got shit done. Get after it. Or should I say, get after it. Good point, well made, my friend. Shouts out to Manchester. So much to answer for. Yo, Kevin Group is in the house, says being a doomer is miserable and I'm in Bryce Canyon National Park. Well, there's nothing to be miserable about in such a beautiful location, is there? Yes. James, the spas are coming at you from Coachella, California. How's Coachella? Are you missing the hipsters? Is it weird not getting invaded by hipsters? You know, it's a thing that happens every year. I was living in Los Angeles for, 5 years? And there'd be a period of the year where, like, all the hipsters would just evacuate the city and just attack Coachella, you know? They'd swarm on Coachella. I never went. I always stayed and picked up all the hipster gigs. And, one, I didn't, I always, did my regulars, but then I also, did other gigs, you know? I just went in, baby. I went hard. Took advantage of the opportunities. High Weeds, Minnesota was a beautiful day today. Warm, overcast with pretty colors. Good news. Regular fathers in Maine. One reason to reject doomerism is because it proposes no solutions, merely nihilistic complaints. Yes, and much cringe. You know, if cringe was, I had a theory. What was my theory? It was something to do that, like, you know, the way David Icke used to say that what the lizards are doing is like farming human fear or something, and that's their energy source or something. And I thought maybe David Icke was close to the truth, but actually it was cringe. Maybe the reptilian overlords are actually farming cringe, and that's what doomerism is all about. And Samantha Bee and John Oliver and all of that whole world, you know. So much cringe, you know. So much needless cringe. And you think, well, what's it good for? Well, maybe it's for the reptilian overlords to power up their spaceships or whatever it is they need. What? Hey, it's the sound of joy. I was very happy when I made this song, by Jove. And this one. Now, Michael Keefe, my ape suit is at 534,144,3658, but of West Edmonton, on the North Saskatchewan River, scooping gold, baby. Oh, my boy's still out there scooping gold. Shouts out to all the panners, you know, panning, handling pans, panning for that gold. You know, that's the other thing apparently we were put here for, you know. The reptilian ancient alien overlords, some say, put us here to mine gold because they needed gold for their interdimensional spacecraft to get back to wherever it was they were on the way to or on the way from. And they got stuck in this particular area, you know. What's that RZA song? A day is to a god is 1,000 years or something. So for them, it's like a bit like, all right, make a bunch of humans, get them to mine some gold, go have a cup of tea. They'll have finished mining the gold, you know, in a couple million years, which is 5 minutes to us, and then we'll piss off back to wherever it was we came from, you know, and thus it was so. So nice to see you doing your part for the ancient alien overlords, panning that gold so they may return from whence they came, and we can carry on with our other businesses of farming cringe for the other guys.
Perfect.
Yeah. David Ewing says history is just a 100,000-year dash to the starship. Indeed, from the trees to the starship. From the trees to the cringe farm.
Perfect.
And Breeze to Quez says, I parody Doom is only ironically. In 2008, I forecasted the world would end in 2020.
Boom shakalaka.
You weren't alone. Lots of other people were saying similar things. The news. I remember being a little boy and they said we'd all be underwater by this point. They said the hole in the ozone layer would suck us all out, like the end of that movie about a penis alien. Amazing movie, one of my favorites. You know, no, still here. I remember around 2003 they were saying, well, peak oil, we're all gonna no more oil. Oil's gonna cost $1 billion a barrel by 2020. Oh no, it's really cheap. It's like cheaper than water. Shame we can't drink it. Oh, foiled again, Duma. Oh. I think the safest thing to do usually is whatever catastrophe they're saying, imagine like the opposite. And that's probably going to be the case. By Jove. Yo, Savage Chill, Reptilian Cringe Cannons. Man, the Reptilian Cringe Cannons, brothers and sisters. We're going in. Yeah. Yeah. John McGarvey, Idaho. One bloomer dropped in the waters of life can make a river. Let's make a wave. Fuck that tsunami. Told you, baby. It's epic activities o'clock. This ain't no puddle. This ain't no splash today. This ain't even wave time, baby. It's tsunami season. 2021. 21. What is it? What year is it? 2021. Tsunami season. We're just limbering up. Yeah. Cindy Bailey's in the house. There's no credit for your life as a doomer, no matter which way you're thrown. No matter which way you're thrown, it isn't of your own merit. Meaning has all the merit. Even when you fall down, you get back up. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Weebles aren't real, though. Richard Young. Raking is for collecting leaves and debris from the lawn. So if those fall leaves are giving you grief, rake away, but don't be a rake. Thank you for the advice. I get great advice on this stream, I really do. Don't be a rake. Very good advice. Well. Make some noise, brothers and sisters. We have an international audience, and the international audience deserves an international high five by Joe. Don't forget to smash that like on the way in. We've got epic activities to engage in.
check it out. This Rick on the chef, rocking with Akira The Don. You heard? You know what it is, man.
Epic activities, that's right.
100.
Good.
3, 2, 1. It's murder on the dance floor. You better not do. Yeah, you better not. DJ, gonna burn that flipping house right now. Whoop, whoop. Let me get that chat on the screen. Yeah, all right, chill. All right, baby, all right. Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Doom is a bloom at 3. Full bloom. I think that's a good title, Full Bloom.
Full bloom. All right, baby, let's get it. Brothers and sisters, may I bring to the stage someone who knows a lot of things about a lot of things. A lot of things about a lot of things, baby. He's an optimist. He does the last thing he's ever gonna stay in is what you would deem as his lane. And he's here today to tell you a little something about people. See, here's the thing about people. Most people are good, are good, are good.
I really think, people should give other people the benefit of the doubt. And assume that they're good until proven otherwise. And I think, really, most people are actually pretty good people. Nobody's perfect.
Most people are good. Most people are good.
The vast majority.
Most people are good.
They have to be.
Most people are good.
The vast majority.
Most people are good. Most people are good.
The vast majority.
Most people are good.
They have to be.
Most people are good.
The vast majority.
I mean, strangely, I think a lot of people don't like humanity and see it as blight. But I do not. This may sound corny, but love is the answer. Love is the answer. Wouldn't hurt to have more love in the world. Most people are good. Most people are good.
The vast majority.
Most people are good.
They have to be.
Most people are good. Most people are good. Most people are good.
The vast majority.
Most people are good.
They have to be.
Most people are good. I think, I think people should be nicer to each other and give more credit to others, and don't assume that they're mean until you know they're actually mean.
What?
It's easy to demonize people. You're usually wrong about it. People are nicer than you think. Most people are good. people are good.
The vast majority.
Most people are good.
They have to be.
Most people are good. Most people are good. Most people are good.
The vast majority.
Most people are good.
They have to be.
Most people are good.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to the MAZ. This is Doom Mr. Bloomer. Part 3. Conclusion of the trilogy.
This may sound corny,
Hey!
but love is the answer. Love is the answer. Wouldn't hurt to have more love in the world.
Hey!
This may sound corny, but love is the answer.
Love is the answer.
Love is the answer.
What up, Nightbot?
Wouldn't hurt to have more love in the world. Love is the answer. Love is the answer. Love is the answer. Wouldn't hurt to have more love in the world.
What is divine deserves our respect because it is good. What is human deserves our affection because it is like us. What is divine deserves our respect because it is good. What is human deserves our affection because it is like us.
Hey!
Nothing is more pathetic than people who run around in circles, delving into the things that lie beneath, and conducting investigation into the souls of the people around them, when all you have to do is pay attention to the power inside you and worship it sincerely. Keep it becoming muddled with turmoil, becoming aimless and dissatisfied with nature. Just worship it sincerely. Keep it becoming muddled with turmoil, becoming aimless and dissatisfied with nature. Divine and human, because it is good. What is human deserves our affection because it is like us. What is divine deserves our respect because it is good. What is human deserves our affection because it is like us. Hey! MAZ, make some noise to Marcus Aurelius! Oh, that Marcus Aurelius emojis in the chat right now! Hey. Yeah, and I pity too. Yeah, and I pity too. Hey. And I pity too, sometimes for its inability to tell good from bad is terrible. A blindness is the kind that can't tell white from black. Even if you're gonna live 3,000 more years or 10 times that, remember, you can't lose another life than this one. You can't live another down, you're losing. Longest amounts to the same as the shortest. The present is the same for everyone. Is lost is the same for everyone. And it should be clear that a brief instant is all that is lost. Cause you can't lose either past or the future. Aye, how could you lose what you don't have? I remember two things. I said one, everything has always been the same. 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 And it keeps recurring. Aye, aye. Everything has always been the same. 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 Keeps recurring. What is divine deserves our respect because it is good. What is human deserves our affection because it is like us. What is divine deserves our respect because it is good. What is human deserves our affection because it is like us. Aye! Wait! Everything has always been the same. 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 Everything is hey. The longest lived and those who will die soonest lose the same thing. The present is all they can give up. The present is all they can give up. Since that's all you have, and what you do not have, you cannot lose. Ay, ay, ay. That's all you have, and what you do not have, you cannot lose. That's all you have, and what you do not have, you cannot lose.
Make some noise for Michael's Aurelius. Oh! Full bloom, baby, full bloom. Life is good. I don't know what you're talking about. Shit.
Gratitude.
What?
On that 400 trillion to one thing, I'm grateful.
What?
Straight up, like I don't know what to say. Like you might have not been born, right? Like your dad could have been late to the apartment that day. On some real shit. Like I don't think people contextualize perspective. Like what? Like you're alive. Like you're alive. You could have been a tree. You could have like right? Like this is cool. Like life is good. Life is good. Like it's cool to have one. It's cool to have one. Life is good. Life is good. Like it's cool to have one.
That's number one.
One of the biggest things for me is being the bigger person. I hate conflict. Ironically, like I'm a tough guy when I have the mic and nobody else can talk, but in real life, I like happiness and vibes and like I've eaten shit my whole life. Kids stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from me in the liquor store. Like I found a way for him not to go to jail for a long time. Like, you know, like just being the bigger person has been a core principle of mine. Not valuing money over family and like happiness has been huge. Fuck money. Like really. Fuck money. You cannot care about money more when you don't care about what people think about your money. You know? Life is good. Life is good. Like it's cool to have one. It's cool to have one. Life is good. Life is good. Like it's cool to have one. That's number one. Patience. Holy shit, I'm gonna live 4 more full lives. And no matter how crazy what I think about right now is, and like what I want to accomplish on or off the field, I got 4 fucking lives to do it. You guys know Grey Goose? The guy who invented that as an entrepreneur invented it at 78. 78 years old. You know? That's life. Like, you could do everything wrong. Have every dream you've ever had fucked up. Blame it on other people. The girl fucked it up. That injury fucked it up. Coach fucked it up. Blame everybody. Have everything go wrong. Be 57 years old and still have fucking 40 years to make it right. It's crazy, honestly. Like, if there was some crazy new drug that I could, like, inject in you that gave you perspective of time, that's the drug I would give you. Straight up. Life is good. Life is good. Like, it's cool to have one. It's cool to have one. Life is good. This is cool. Life is good. Like, it's cool to have one. That's the one. Life is good. Life is good. Like, it's cool to have one. It's cool to have one. Life is good. Life is good. This is cool. Like, it's cool to have one. That's the one. It makes you optimistic. People are sitting here dwelling already.
Yo!
Dwelling already.
Make some noise, MAC!
Hey, Rutgers. Fucking knew it.
What?
Of course there's people thinking that. Like, that's just real life. Dwelling already, haven't even fucking started. Man, that's what I want to change.
Life is good. Life is good. Like it's good to have one. It's good to have one. Life is good. Life is good. Like it's good to have one. That's number one.
What? Man like Gary V. Shoot, Gary V, you got a point there. You got a good point. You know, you could have been a tree. You know, your dad could have been late to the apartment that day. You know, you could have ended up in a sock. The fact you're here is a miracle, frankly. A statistical miracle. You! Here now! At the peak of recorded human civilization. What?
Meaning is what you have to buttress yourself against the tragedy of life. Despite the fact that you're a fragile, damaged, mortal creature, you found something to do that announced itself as worthwhile. That's meaning. It's an instinct. It's a deep, deep instinct. It's maybe the deepest instinct. It's like a form of vision. Meaning tells you when you're in the right place. And the right place is between chaos and order. And those are real places. Your hemispheres. Your right hemisphere is roughly evolved, let's say, to deal with things you don't understand. That's chaos. And your left is there to deal with things you do understand. You can't just stay with the things you do understand because you already understand them. And you can't just stay with what you don't understand because then you're lost. But you need to be in the middle of those two. And you can tell when you're in the middle because everything lines up. Everything lines up. Expedience is you do the thing that gets you off the hook the fastest right now. You play that game across time, it doesn't work. It sends you down. Because you're sacrificing the future for the present. Meaning doesn't do that. Meaning says, I'm here where I should be. And you can't tell why. It's just that everything is right. You get the physiological sense. Right place, right time. Follow this meaningful path. That's your buttress against the tragedy that produces resentment and malevolence. Meaning is the antidote to that. That's the fundamental religious truth. Life is suffering. That's true. There's malevolence. That's true. Meaning is the antidote to that. Yes. People say, well, meaning isn't real. It's like, no, that's wrong. It's actually the most real thing. It might even be more real than suffering and evil. It's possible. This isn't a metaphysical assumption that I'm making. And you do feel it. You feel it in your body. It's not just a mental thing. It's not an idea. It's a place. Because we're in time and space, right? And a place is a place, 3 dimensions of space, but it's also a time. And when the place and the time are set up properly, you're in the right place. And your brain is telling you that. Your being is telling you that. The purpose of profound religious contemplation, profound philosophical contemplation, is to learn how to be in the right place at the right time.
All the time.
What?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. FAC, make some noise for Jordan B. Peterson. All the time.
There's this line from the Gospel of Thomas, which was discovered in 1957. And it says, the kingdom of God is spread out before the eyes of men, but men do not see it. And that's kind of what it's referring to. There are times when you're in the right place at the right time, and then you're where you should be. And you're not really trained to notice that, because it isn't something we ever talk about. It's like, you're in the right place at the right time. Okay, why? What did I do right? What did I do? I need to do more of that. So maybe it's only half an hour a week when you first start noticing. And then maybe with 3 months of practice, you can get it up to an hour a day. And then maybe you can get it up to 4 hours a day. And God only knows where you could get it if you keep practicing, You can be there. We don't know what the upper limit of that is.
Make some noise for Naval, Ravikant in the house. In the house!
Akira The Don.
The extent that specific knowledge is taught, it's on the job. It's through apprenticeships, and that's why the best careers are the apprenticeship careers, because those are things that society still has not figured out how to train and automate yet. The classic line here is that Warren Buffett went to Benjamin Graham when he got out of school, and Benjamin Graham was the author of The Intelligent Investor, sort of modernized or created Benjamin Graham and offered to work for him for free. And Graham said, actually, you're overpriced. Free is overpriced. And Graham was absolutely right. When it comes to a very valuable apprenticeship, like the type that Graham was going to give Buffett, Buffett should have been paying him a lot of money. And that right there tells you that those are skills worth knowing. Specific knowledge also tends to be technical and creative. So on the bleeding edge of technology, on the bleeding edge of art, on the bleeding edge of communication, even today, for example, there are probably meme lords out there on the internet who can create incredible memes that will spread the idea to millions of people. Incredible memes that will spread the idea to millions of people. Follow your own obsession. Follow your own obsession. Follow your own obsession. Follow your own obsession. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you can realize that, hey, actually, this obsession, I'll keep an eye out for the commercial aspects of it. But I think if you go around trying to build it a little too deliberately, if you become too goal-oriented on the money, then you won't pick the right thing. You pick the thing that you love to do, so you won't go deep enough into it. But I think it's important that one not start assembling things too deliberately. Because you do want to pick things where you are a natural. Everyone is a natural at something. We're all familiar with that phrase, a natural. Oh, this person's a natural at meeting men or women. This person's a natural socialite. This person's a natural programmer. This person's a natural reader. So, whatever you are a natural at, you want to double down on that. And then there are probably multiple things you're natural at because personalities and humans are very complex. We want to be able to take the things that you are natural at and combine them so that you automatically, just through sheer interest and enjoyment, end up top 25 or top 10 or top 5% at a number of things. Obsession. Whatever you are a natural at, you want to double down on that. Follow your own obsession. Follow your own obsession. Whatever you are a natural at, you want to double down on that. Whatever you are a natural at, you want to double down on that. Follow your own obsession. Follow your own obsession. Whatever you are a natural at, you want to double down on that. Follow your own obsession. Follow your own obsession. Whatever you're a natural at, you want to double down on that. You wanna double down on that. You wanna double down on that. MAC, make some noise for Naval. Who's hyped for How to Get Rich Part 2? Oh!
I view social media as a mirror. I think what people are putting out is an incredible indicator of what's inside of them. So right now there's a lot of political anxiety. There's a lot of ideological anxiety. And so what we're seeing is a lot of judgment. We consume as animals. And I think if one feels overwhelmed, they should stop consuming. I don't put social media consumption in a very different place than the films and music and books that one reads. The collective replies to people's angst is no different than Kurt Cobain's singular angst. And I think we're forgetting the upside. There's so much love and greatness going on every day. Forgetting the upside. Humans find what they're looking for. We're forgetting the upside. There's so much love and greatness going on every day. Forgetting the upside. Humans find what they're looking for. I think it's great. I don't care about social media. I really don't. I care about humans communicating with each other. I'm fascinated by communication, and I'm fascinated that we now have a collective ability to communicate at a scale that we've never seen before. And I think right now people are focusing on the downside of that. They're signing into Twitter to find a fight, or to find somebody to fight with, to see some negativity. You're gonna find it. I think if you go to Twitter or Instagram to find happiness and positivity, it's there. At scale. And I think we're forgetting the upside. There's so much love and greatness going on every day. Forgetting the upside. Humans find what they're looking for. We're forgetting the upside. There's so much love and greatness going on every day. Forgetting the upside. Humans find what they're looking for.
What? MAZ makes me noise, Gary V. Some of the realest shit ever spit in a Meaningwave song. If you log on looking for a fight, you will find it. If you log on looking for beauty, inspiration, wisdom, is that in a hitherto unimaginable abundance. Yo! Hey. MAZ makes some noise for Gary V in the house. And that's right, baby. I think, all we need is I think what we need is the clearness of the view, the fullness of the view, from a certain point of view.
The web is a trap, like the spider's web is a trap for flies. Also, the lovely embroideries are worn by women as traps for men, from a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. And I want to consider the web as something playful. You see, there are so many ways of looking at it. And you will find that all these ways are right, but what we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. Of the view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. There are people, for example, who can see the web as a trap and get stuck with that. There are people to whom existence is simply hateful. They see it as nothing but a ghastly mistake. the Lord really erred when he created this world, because he arranged it in such a way that everything lives by eating something else. And what I'm doing is I'm describing a certain point of view.
From a certain point of view.
I'm not exactly philosophizing, I'm describing a point of view. You can look at life in such a way that the whole thing is this ghastly mistake. For example, there is no such thing as genuine kindness or love. Everybody is really pretending that they're loving other people in order to get some advantage from them. And indeed, there is a point of view which occurs in certain forms of paranoia where people don't seem to be real. They are mechanisms. And you can think that out quite intensely with a good deal of intelligence. After all, if you start from a good old Darwinian or Freudian basis and see that man is a material machine and that the consciousness of man is simply a very involved and complicated form of chemistry, well, then this awful mechanical things, these Frankenstein that everybody is, they come around and they say, well, I'm alive. I'm a human being. I have a heart. I love, I hate, I have problems. I feel. And you feel like saying, come off it. You're just a monster. And you put on the civilized act because really you're just a set of teeth on the end of a tube.
What we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view.
Eyes wide, M-A-Z. Look up. Look up. Oh. Make some noise for Alan Watts.
You've got a ganglion behind those teeth, which you call your brain or your alleged mind. And this thing is really basically there for two purposes. One, to be cunning enough to get something to eat, to put down the tube, and the other, you know what, Mr. Freud, libido. And everything else, you see, can be construed as an elaborate, subtle way of pretending that that's not really what you want to do. But you do. But you put on a great show. Now, some people, according to this view, get mixed up. They so repress that what they really want to do is to eat and to screw. They get involved in higher things that are the masks for these activities and think that that's the real purpose of life. And then they become what's called neurotic. They get involved in being pure camouflage. So that's what's called escaping from the facts. Not looking at life, not looking at reality correctly.
The point I want to make is this, that all of these divine interpretations of local law, of local social orders, are simply cooked up. They're not true. The society has changed with time. These are functions of conditions, geography, and history. One must realize that the moral order is in flux, is changing. There is no God-given right, wrong, true, false, moral, immoral. And with that kind of relativism, one is free to live as a human being. One is free. One is free. One is free. One is free to live as a human being, not simply as a robot repeating patterns that have been enforced in the past. In the past. So we have a much more sophisticated idea towards the social order. However, when it comes to this other problem of the natural order, one's nature as man, the thing is not quite so relativistic. One is free. One is free. One is free. One is free to live as a human being. One is free. One is free. One is free. One is free to live as a human being. One is free. One is free to live as a human being. One is free. What happens is that the old fascination disappears, an echo remains. The old fascination disappears, an echo remains. The old fascination disappears, an echo remains. As it were, the vestige of a mythology. The problem of our present age is to recreate the mythology for today, on which people will live, on which the society will grow. It is being done. It's being done well. People aren't always looking in the right place for it, but it is taking shape. Our great artists, our great poets, our great scientists, Erwin Schrödinger's little book, My View of the World. This is a vision of a poet and of a first-rate physical scientist. And it has the same song in it that one reads and hears in the old Upanishads and in the sayings of the great prophets. Nature is still ours. It is in us. It is in the universe. Nature is still ours. It is still ours. It is in us. It is in the universe. Secondary to that is the social situation. In our society, the social problem is turned over largely to the police and to Congress. It's a purely practical matter. However, the constitute the society, these are today the neighbors. They really are. The idea of a personal God living somehow, somewhere else, out there. There is no out there anymore. There's no more up there. It's awfully difficult to validate. But it seems to me if one's looking for the personality of God, it's right here in the multitudinous personalities of those around us. Nature is still ours.
It's still ours.
It is in us. It is in the universe. Nature is still ours.
It's still ours.
It is in us. It is in the universe. Everything I find in the poets, in the scientists, who push through to this mystery, points not to the animals as our neighbors, not to the plant, not to the planet, but to that other one, the thou, whom you face, who's not the thou you would want him to be. He's other. And it's that recognition of otherness that is absolutely basic and necessary. Now this doesn't mean that you have to give up your otherness in recognition of him. There may darn well be collision, but it's got to be collision with reverence and respect.
Reverence and respect, brothers and sisters. Very necessary parts of Bloomington. Now it's time for us to head back in the past and pick up something we forgot, you know? Sometimes you gotta do that. You gotta do that, you know? When you get to a certain point.
The way I think of...
You get to a certain point, you gotta run back and grab your hat before you duck under the temple door that's collapsing, you know? Shows how to Indiana Jones. It's that time.
The way I think of the psychedelics is they are catalysts to the imagination.
Catalysts.
They were back 100,000 years ago. The imagination, which was just this glimmering, this iridescence on the surface of ape cognition, was under the influence of the reciprocal feedback of self-reflection that is created by watching your own mind. Watching your own mind. Watching your own mind. Watching your own mind.
Alright.
Because it has suddenly become interesting, because it has suddenly been flooded by a psychoactive amine. That iridescence has been coaxed into language, art, architecture, music, poetry, the whole ball of wax. But now we know these things. We can uncover the secret of our origin. I'm very keen for the notion of what I call the Archaic revival. And the Archaic revival is this overarching metaphor that is the way for us to go to save our necks at this point. When a culture gets into trouble, instinctively what it does is it goes back through its own past until it finds a moment where things and then it brings that moment forward into the present. The Archaic revival brings that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival brings that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival brings that moment forward into the present. Medieval Christianity no longer made sense to a major percentage of the people of Western Europe. The intellectuals of that time instinctively reached backwards into the past, looking for a stable model, and finally they reached the golden age of Periclean Athens. And there they found Plato, Aristotle, the dramatists, and they created classicism. Classicism was brought to birth in the 1400s, 2,000 years after the death of Plato. We are the children of this classical revival, which we call the Renaissance. Our theories of law, our theories of government, our notion of justice, all drawn from classical Greek and Roman models, brought back from the dead 500 years ago by a bunch of Italian investment bankers who thought this was a good model to hang their civilization on. Bring that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival. Bring that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival. Bring that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival. Bring that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival. So we must now reach far back into time for a new cultural model. Our crisis is so great that we have to reach back to the high Paleolithic, to the moment immediately before the invention of agriculture and the creation of the dominator ego.
MAC! Make some noise for Terence McKenna. Who wants to hear more Terence McKenna in the Meaningwave universe? Who would like to hear more Terence McKenna in the Meaningwave universe really soon? Make some noise if that is you. If it is you that would like to hear Terence McKenna in the Meaningwave universe very soon. Let me see, yeah. Alright, you better get ready to be happy, huh?
Akira. It's for the heroes.
Because, I mean, I'm talking with the person who gave us the AMA, gave me Blue Church, Jordan Hall. And part of that is this idea, which is the religion that's not a religion, and trying to come up with a post-religious faith. Because here's the idea. This is probably, in some ways, my most radical idea. I want to do what, like, Augustine did as the Roman Empire is falling. He laid the foundation. He laid the cultural cognitive grammar for an entirely different culture, and they stole the culture bottom up. He laid the cultural cognitive grammar for an entirely different culture, and they stole the culture bottom up. I want to help steal the culture. Away. Steal it away. Steal it away. I want to help steal the culture. Away. Steal it away. Steal it away. And do everything I can. Do everything I can. I want to help steal the culture. Away. Steal it away. Steal it away. From the imperial system at some point clamped down again, but nevertheless we shifted we shifted out of antiquity. We shifted to a different world. So I want to try and do that. I want to try and create the systems of meaning, the religion that's not a religion, the ecologies of practices, the communities, the networks of communities. All of this is already happening. Really empower it, both in terms of its grammar, give it the best scientific tools for engineering the practices and the ecology of practices. I basically want to steal the culture. I want to help steal the culture. Steal it away. Steal it away. I want to help steal the culture. Steal it away. Steal it away. And do everything I can. And I can. Do everything I can. And I can. I want to help steal the culture. Away. Steal it away. Steal it away. The people who have been abusing us for such a very long time. And I usually don't speak politically because I think the political framing is often a deep misrepresentation of the issue, at least the way in which political discourse has been sort of been ossified. It's been ossified in ways that make choice no longer really relevant. And Christianity stole the culture away from the elites of its time. Now, new elites form. They always will. But the culture changed, and it changed in an important way. That's what I'm trying to do right now. That's what I see myself doing with a lot of these other people. That's what I'm trying to do right now. That's what I see myself doing with a lot of these other people. I want to help steal the culture. Away. Steal it away. Steal it away. I want to help steal the culture. Away. Steal it away. Steal it away. Do everything I can. And I can. Do everything I can. And I can. I want to help steal the culture. Away. Steal it away. Steal it away. Protection. It's a hard road to heaven. We call on your blessing. And the Father put our faith. Kingdom, the kingdom. Our demons are trembling. Oh, the angels defending. In the Father we put our faith. For protection. It's a hard road to heaven. That's right. My way of trying to understand what it is to not play their game and to shift over to a totally different game, to shift the culture, is to steal the culture. The only thing I can get from history that's been able to do that are religion. But for reasons that I've articulated, I don't want, not personally, I mean in terms of the functionality, I don't think the standard model, the axial age model of religion is going to do what we need in order to steal the culture as deeply as we need to steal it.
Use this gospel.
MAC makes some noise, Trumpet Bucky and Kanye West join together in the MAC.
Of your own story. You have to be the hero of your own story. Hey. Be the hero of your own movie. If your life was a movie and it started now, forget about whatever financial disasters you've had, personal failures, relationship failures. What would the hero of your life's movie do right now? Do that. Do those things.
Do that. Do those things. Do that.
Do those things. We define look at our past and we say, well, that's me. That's not you. You are this person right now. You're the person who's learned from those failures, and you can choose to be the hero of your own movie right now. Write down your goals. Write down things you want to improve. Write down things you won't tolerate from yourself. Write down things that you've done in the past that you never want to see yourself do again. And go forward from here as the hero of your own movie. As the hero of your own movie.
Hey! Yeah!
You have to be the hero of your own story. You have to be the hero of your own story. You have to be the hero of your own story. You have to be the hero of your own story. Build momentum. Build confidence and momentum with each good decision that you make from here on out. You can do it. You can do it. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. We live in unique times. We live in one of the rarest times in human history where you can choose almost all of the input that comes your way. Whether it's the movies that you watch, the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, you can choose to be inspired. Do that. Get after it. Do that. Get after it. Do that. Get after it. Do that. Do that. Well, you gotta get after it. Be the hero.
What?
Be the hero.
What?
Be the hero.
What?
Of your own movie. You have to be the hero of your own story. You have to be the hero of your own story. You have to be the hero of your own story. You have to be the hero of your own story.
That's right, baby. If not you, then who? You know what I mean? If not you, then who? Huh?
Get after it. You gotta get after it.
You know, I mean, of course we've gotten soft as a culture in the U.S. Because the U.S. has had an incredible 200-year run, right? Like, this is just what happens. And that's a great thing. That means there's been enormous amounts of prosperity. But let's not be naive. I mean, people literally complain when somebody gives them the wrong amount of, like, extra cream in a Starbucks $6 coffee. My lack of interest in complaining is so high, and when I watch what people complain about, it breaks my heart because they completely lack perspective. I genuinely believe my happiness and optimism comes from my perspective. Even in political rest times like right now, a lot of people are very bent out of shape, but the reality is that it's just never been better. Yeah. It's just never been better to be a human being. It's just never been better. That's just the truth. That's just data. That's reality. It's just never been better to be a human being. It's just never been better. That's just the truth. That's just data. That's reality. It's just an incredible time, and I think the way people look at the world right now is actually the quickest tell to who they are. If you think it sucks or it's bad, you have losing pessimistic DNA. And if you think it's awesome and phenomenal, you have optimistic winning DNA, and I believe that to be true. We're beating ourselves up. Like, everybody sucks at something, right? Like, we all have shortcomings, and we all have strengths. And for me, it's like, why don't we just audit that? Like, why don't we just look at it that way and be like, all right, well, I'm good at this, but I'm not good at that. Like, and then I only focus what I'm good at, right? Like, I don't dwell that I can't fix shit around the house. I call somebody to fix it. Like, I'm not a man. I don't give a fuck. I don't get it. I also think it's awesome that I'm so emotionally stable and I'm the emotional
Welcome to reality, baby. This is a beautiful place to be alive. And that's just data. That's just science. If you can't see that, you just blind.
Well, the argument for the simulation, I think, is quite strong. Because if you assume any improvements at all over time, any improvement, 1%, 0.1%, just extend the time frame, make it 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. Civilization, if you're very generous, civilization is maybe 7,000 or 8,000 years old. If you count it from the first writing, there's nothing. There's nothing. If you assume any rate of improvement at all, then games will be indistinguishable from reality. Or civilization will end. One of those things will occur. Anyway, I don't want to sound like things are too dark, because I think you kind of have to be optimistic about the future. There's no point in being pessimistic. It's just too negative. It doesn't help. You know, I think you want to be... I mean, my theory is you'd rather be optimistic. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. At least we're on that side. Because if you're pessimistic, you're just going to be miserable. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Ultimately, even if we just sort of existed as humans forever, eventually that'd be like the heat depth of the universe. A zillion years from now. Eventually it's going to end. It's just a question of when. So it really is all about the journey. The universe as we know it will dissipate into a fine mist. Cold nothingness, eventually. So I think it's really just about how can we make it last longer. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Naval?
Essentially, to create things, you have to be a rational optimist. Rational in the sense that you have to see the world for what it really is, and yet you have to be optimistic about your own capabilities and your capability to get things done. We all know people who are consistently pessimistic, who will shoot down everything. Everyone in their life has the helpful, critical guy, right? He thinks he's being helpful, but he's actually being critical, and he's a downer on everything. Akira. That person will not only never do anything great in their lives, they'll prevent other people around them from doing something great. They think their job is to shoot holes in things. And it's okay to shoot holes in things as long as you come with a solution. There's also the classic military line, either lead, follow, or get out of the way. Get after People want a fourth option, where they don't want to lead, they don't want to follow, but they don't want to get out of the way. They want to tell you why the thing's not going to work. And all the really successful people I know have a very strong action bias. They just do things. The easiest way to figure out if something's viable or not is by doing it. So if you want to be successful in life, creating wealth, or having good relationships, or even being happy, you need to have an action bias towards getting what you want. And you have to be optimistic about it.
You got one life on this planet. Why not try to do something big? You got one life on this planet. Why not try to do something big?
This is the beauty of Elon Musk and why I think he inspires so many people. It's just that he takes on really, really big, audacious tasks, and he provides an example for people to think big. Think big. And it's a lot of work to build even small things. I don't think the corner grocery store owner is working any less hard than Elon Musk or pouring any less sweat and toil into it. Maybe even more. But for whatever reason, education, circumstance, they didn't get the chance to think as big, so the outcome's not as big.
So it's just better to think big, obviously rationally within your means to stay optimistic. The cynics and the pessimists, what they're really saying, they're basically saying, I've given up. I don't think I can do anything. And so the world to me just looks like a world where nobody can do anything. And so why should you go do something? Because if you fail, then I'm right, which is great. But if you succeed, then you just make me look bad.
You got one life on this planet. Why not try to build something big? You got one life on this planet. Why not try to build something big?
This is the beauty
of Elon
Musk.
Musk.
Be optimistic and wrong.
Hey, pessimistic and right. Been pessimistic and right. Been pessimistic and right. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong. Been pessimistic and right. Been pessimistic and right. Been pessimistic and right.
There's a completely rational frame on why you should be an optimist. Historically, if you go back 2,000 years, 5,000 years, 10,000 years, two people are wandering through the jungle. They hear a tiger. One's an optimist and says, oh, it's not headed our way. The other one says, I'm a pessimist, I'm out of here. And the pessimist runs and survives, and the optimist gets eaten. So we're descended from pessimists. We're genetically hardwired to be pessimists. But modern society is far, far safer. There are no tigers wandering down the street. It's very unlikely that you will end up in total ruin, although you should avoid total ruin. Much more likely, the upside is unlimited and the downside is limited. Adapting for modern society means overriding your pessimism and taking slightly irrationally optimistic bets because the upside is unlimited. If you start the next SpaceX or Tesla or Uber, you can make billions of dollars of value for society and for yourself and change the world. And if you fail, what's the big deal? You lost a few $1 million of investor money and they've got plenty more, and that's the bet they take, the chances that you will succeed. It made sense to be pessimistic in the past. It makes sense to be optimistic today, especially if you're educated and living in a first world country. The one thing you have to avoid is the risk of ruin. Ruin means stay out of jail, so don't do anything that's illegal. Stay out of total catastrophic loss. Stay out of things that can be physically dangerous, hurt your body. You have to watch your health and stay out of things that can cause you to lose all of your capital, all of your savings. So don't gamble everything at one go. You take rationally optimistic bets with big upside.
You got one life on this planet. Why not try to build something big? Hey, you got one life on this planet. Why not try to build something big? You got one life on this planet. Why not try to build something big? You got one life on this planet. Why not try to build something big?
This is the beauty of Elon
I'd
Musk.
rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. You got one life on this planet. Why not try to build something big?
Silicon Valley has learned that the upside is so great that you never look down on the Slavi kid who's wearing a hoodie and has like coffee at his shoes and just looks like a Slav, because you don't know if he's going to be the next Mark Zuckerberg or the next Reid Hoffman. So you got to treat everybody with respect. You got to look up to every possibility and opportunity, because the upside is so unlimited and the downside is so limited in the modern world.
Optimism Trilogy Part 3!
3 words. You're gonna die. Yeah, that's inspiration. Do something about it. I don't look at anybody else. I have no fucking idea what you guys are up to, and I shit on myself every day. I critique everything I do. Everything is my fault. Hey. End of story. Somebody hits me with a fucking car tomorrow, I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have left the house that early. You get into that fucking mindset, I promise you shit changes. You need to fucking suffocate your bullshit. Optimistic or practical. Optimistic or practical. Optimistic or practical. Optimistic or practical. You're gonna die. You're gonna die. Yeah! That's inspiration. Optimistic or practical. Optimistic or practical. Optimistic or practical. Optimistic or practical. You're gonna die. You're gonna die. Yeah! That's inspiration. To suffocate your bullshit. Period. You either need to figure out who's holding you back and their judgment and go to them. I want you to call your mom and say, fuck you. If she's the person that is suppressing you because she's miserable and misery loves company. I'm being dead serious with you. People aren't doing things because they're fearful of other people's judgment and they're still keeping negative energy around them because they're obligated. And to let that dictate your only life is fucking ludicrous. Go volunteer at a nursing home for one day. Go to 8 people. You're gonna see something that's gonna scare the living shit out of you. It's called regret. Regret scares the shit out of me. Regret is a fuel besides gratitude that drives my life. You will see people and they will tell you things about the things they didn't do, the silliness to why they didn't do it, and they're running out of time. And you have time. Optimistic or practical. Optimistic or practical. Optimistic or practical. Optimistic or practical. You're gonna die. You're gonna die. Yeah. That's inspiration. Optimistic or practical. Optimistic or practical. Optimistic or practical. Optimistic or practical. You're gonna die. Hey! You're gonna die. Yeah. That's inspiration.
Make some noise for Stoic Gary V. Young Stoic Gary V. Optimistic Practical Gary V. You just heard that little mini Optimism trilogy there. Elon, Naval, and Gary. Very epic. Elon, where are we going?
Yeah, I mean,
oh, sweet.
But my goal is try to do useful things, try to maximize the probability of the future.
Useful things. Maximize the probability that the future's good. Yeah.
Forward to, with Tesla, we're trying to make things that people love. How many things can you buy that you really love, that really give you joy? So rare, so rare. I wish there were more things. That's what we're trying to do. Just make things that somebody loves. What are the set of things that can be done to make the future better? I think that a future where we are a spacefaring civilization out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. Out there among the stars, this is very exciting. Out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. This makes me look forward to the future. It makes me want that future. There are things, there need to be things that make you look forward to waking up in the morning. You wake up in the morning, you look forward to the day, forward to the future. A future where we are a spacefaring civilization and out there among the stars, I think that's very exciting. That is a thing we want. Whereas if you knew we would not be a spacefaring civilization but forever confined to Earth, this would not be a good future. That would be very sad. No, I just think there are two futures, and one future is we're out there among the stars, and the things we read about and see in science fiction movies, the good ones, are true. We have these starships, and we're going to see what other planets are like, and we're a multi-planet species, and the scope and scale of consciousness is expanded across many civilizations and many planets and many star systems. This is a great future. This is a wonderful thing to me. And that's what we strive for. Out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for.
That's what we should strive for.
Out there among the stars, this is very exciting. Out there among the stars.
Out there among the stars.
That's what we should strive for.
That's what we should strive for.
This makes me look forward to the future.
Out there among the stars.
It makes me want that future. Life has to be more than about solving problems. If all that life is about is solving problems, why bother getting up in the morning? There have to be things that make you proud to be a member of humanity. Only a handful of people went to the moon. And yet, we all went to the moon. We went with them vicariously. We shared in that adventure. I don't think anyone would say that that was a bad idea. That was great. We need more of those things. Out there among the stars.
Out there among the stars.
That's what we should strive for.
That's what we should strive for.
Out there among the stars.
Out there among the stars.
This is very exciting. Out there among the stars.
Out there among the stars.
That's what we should strive for.
That's what we should strive for.
This makes me look forward to the future.
Out there among the stars.
Makes me want that future.
Out there among the stars. That's what we should strive for. Out there among the stars. Out there among the stars.
Let's welcome to the stage Mr. Gary Vaynerchuk.
Bloom! Full bloom, baby!
Right.
Make some noise for yourselves and for Gary V. In the place to be!
I wish we had better perspective.
That's right.
I wish that there was some weird genie that could take us back into time so that every one of you could live one fucking day in your great-great-grandparents' shoes and understand how fucking good you have it.
Understand how fucking good you have it.
Like if you really, really understood.
If you really, really understood.
I'm not naive to what's happening in our society.
Okay.
Let me just say this very clear so everybody gets it through their fucking dome. This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind. This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind.
This is the best. This is the best. This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind. Fascinated
by this.
Fascinated by fucking mindset.
It's a binary decision if you're gonna be positive or negative about shit. When you bet on optimism, when you're on the offense, when you were playing towards intangibles, you do something super duper interesting. You start suffocating excuses. If you asked me what the number one thing is that I'm thankful for that my parents gave me, taking me from a communist country and moving me to the US, parenting me well, roof and clothes. If you ask me the number one thing I wake up every morning and thank that my parents did, is I never saw either one of them complain about jack shit. And it basically created learned behavior for me. I am incapable of actually complaining about shit. This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind. This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind.
This is the best. This is the best.
This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind. This is the best. We have it. The best. And all I see is people sitting around dwelling around dumb shit, what they don't have, instead of focusing on what they do have. The internet is a fucking miracle. It's a fucking miracle. The internet is a fucking miracle. Ow. It's a fucking miracle. There was no side hustle for your great-grandparents.
Yeah.
When it was 9 p.m., it was dark and cold outside. We just get used to shit so fast. And in our feed of getting used to how fucking awesome it is, I'm just desperate for you to not lose perspective. This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind. This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind.
This is the best. This is the best.
This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind. Both my grandfathers had the same exact thing that I had, and because they were Jewish in communist Russia post-World War II, their communism put them both in jail for 10 years in Siberia. Like, just think about that. Timing, opportunity. Yes. Life is binary. It's either offense or defense. You are either sitting in your seat right now on the offense, or you're not. There is no fucking half pregnant. There's no in between. You're either this or that.
This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind. What? What?
That's just facts, baby. Yo, make some noise, MAZ. We broadcasting live for the peak of recorded human civilization. It's Doom, it's a Bloomer Part 3. Full bloom! Full bloom, baby, full bloom. Full speed ahead. Beauty will save the world. Beauty will save the world.
Go into your imagination. Go into your imagination.
I was at the Museum of Art in New York. I was in this amazing room, you know, it had all these priceless paintings from the late Renaissance hanging in it. Each painting worth, who knows, $1 billion maybe. They're priceless paintings. So the room it's a shrine, and it was full of people from all over the world who were looking at these paintings. You think, well, what the hell are these people doing coming to this room looking at these paintings? What are they up to? What are they doing? They don't know what that means. Like, why are they looking at that painting? Why is it in this room? Why does it cost $1 billion? Why is that painting worth so much? And the answer to that is, well, we don't really know. They're sacred objects in some sense. And we gaze at them in ignorance and wonder. And the reason for that is that the unknown shines through them at us and in partially articulated form. Well, that's the role of art. And that's the role of artists. Well, that's the role of art. And that's the role of artists. Real artists are contending with the unknown, right? And they're possessed by it. They have a personality trait, openness, that makes them do that. They can't even help it. Makes them do that. They can't even help it. The worst thing for creative people is to not not be creative, but they just die. So one of the things I would say is, buy a damn piece of art. You know, find one that really speaks to you and look out if you do it. If it's a real piece of art, because you'll also get a little introduction to the artist, and then that'll seep into your life. And that'll change things like mad. But it's unbelievably worth it, because it opens your eyes to the domain of the transcendent. That's the right way of thinking about it. A real piece of art is a window into the transcendent. That's what it is, in the absence of the sublime. You can see that integral to our culture is the idea that beauty is one pathway towards God. And it's saying, if you can't find another pathway, then why don't you use beauty? I'm sure most of you do that with music, because music is the one thing that modern people can't be cynical about. Thank God for that. And so we need to understand the role of art and literature and stop thinking about it as an option. It's not an option. It's not an option. What is it said? Man does not live by bread alone. That's exactly right. We live by beauty. We live by literature. We live by art. And literally, not metaphorically. Cannot live without it, because life is too dismal and tragic.
Perfect.
Well, that's the role of art. And that's the role of artists. Well, that's the role of art. And that's the role of artists. Real artists are contending with the unknown, right? And possessed by it. They have a personality trait. Open makes them do that. They can't even help it. Makes them do that. They can't even help it.
So, thank you very much, and I hope that you find these programs that we're developing useful and practical, and that they help you put yourselves together and lead productive and meaningful and high-quality lives with the least amount of tragedy and suffering possible. That would be really good.
That's the role of artists.
So, thanks very much.
That's the role of artists. Yo! How to guide Akira The Don.
He's got.
Here you go, look.
To spread joy, you have to have it. To impart delight, you have to be more or less delightful. And to be delightful is not some factor of trying to make yourself look delightful. It is to do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. You become thereby delightful to others. Just do things that are delightful to you. Hey, do things that are delightful to you. Come on. Do things that are delightful to you. You become thereby delightful to others. Hey. That's to say, people who are interesting
are interested.
Any person, for example, who is constantly thinking about all sorts of other things and other people and so on, because they're fascinating, becomes a fascinating person. But a person who doesn't think about anybody else and who's got very little going on inside their skull is boring. So in other words, your engagement with the external world, the more you are involved, the more your personality is enriched. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. You become thereby delightful to others. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. You become thereby delightful to others. But if you try to enrich your personality by taking a course in how to win friends and influence people, or how to be a real person, you'll become just a washout. You'll be like somebody trying to get a good nutrition by biting his nails. then the fingers next, you know, and then half an arm gone and so on. You're entirely nourishing yourself with yourself. Now, of course, on a vast scale, the universe does that. It eats itself up. That's why the symbol of the snake swallowing its tail is a very fundamental, archaic symbol of life. But the way it's done is that the snake has in some part of the ring a place where it's not sensitive. It's called the unconscious. Where it doesn't know that what comes to it in the form of food is actually what left it in the form of excrement. That thing you... Don't mention it. After all, as the Lord said at the beginning of the universe, you must draw the line somewhere.
Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. You become thereby delightful to others. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. You become thereby delightful to others.
Yeah, that's right, baby. As do you. What up? Make some noise, brothers and sisters. It's a beautiful day to be alive. What? Doom into bloom, baby, it's nearly over. Full bloom, baby. Bloom shakalaka, shouts out to Full Killer. Hey! Make some noise for Stan Lee. We in the promised land, baby.
One thing I might mention.
That's right.
Most writers, and I think it's an unfortunate thing, they try to write something that they think a certain audience might enjoy. I've never been able to do that. Because I can't put myself in the mind of other people. I only know what I enjoy. So every time I've written a story, I've always tried to write the sort of story that I myself would enjoy reading. The sort of story that I myself would enjoy reading. A story that would interest me while I'm writing it, as I'm waiting to find out what happens next. And I can't know what other people think, but I can know what I think. I can't know what other people think, but I can know what I think. And I feel I'm not that unusual. If there's a type of story I like, there must be lots of people who like the same type of stories. Therefore, I have always written to please myself, not to please a certain type of audience. The sort of story that I myself would enjoy reading. The sort of story that I myself would enjoy reading. Because you can't know the audience as well as you know yourself. And if I write a story that I'm enjoying while I'm writing it, and I can't wait to see what happens next, then I'm hoping that a large proportion of the public will feel the same way, and they'll enjoy it too. So to sum it up, I have always tried to please myself, not other people. And somehow it seems to have worked. Because I guess I'm not that different than other people. tried to write the sort of story that I myself would enjoy reading. The sort of story that I myself would enjoy reading. The sort of story that I myself would enjoy reading. The sort of story that I myself would enjoy reading. So good luck to you. Thanks for listening, and I really enjoyed talking to you. Excelsior.
Make some noise for Stanley, the Immortal Stanley. That's from the EP called The Immortal Stanley.
I think a lot of what happiness is a management issue. You could be in a shit state of mind right now, but you can make some decisions to adjust that, and over the next couple hours, you'll get to a much better place. And these constant management decisions, they waver in and out of your life on a daily basis. Like this idea that you can have a good mindset and then all of a sudden you'll be happy. But that's horseshit. Perfect. It's like the tide. It comes in and it comes out. There's gonna be days where you're just not feeling so good physically. That's going to affect the way your happiness level is. It's never static. Never exactly the same. Me?
I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. That's what I would say. I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. That's what I would say.
It's like hunger. It goes in and out. It's always there. This is something I've cultivated for a long time and avoided things that make me unhappy and figured out what those things are and been very rigid about eliminating them from my life. There's a lot of cynicism in these days about inspiration and motivation because there's a lot of fake shit. I see a million of these inspirational quote pages run by people that are probably depressed. You know, you see a lot of people that are talking about how to get ahead in life, but they're not really doing anything themselves. So there's a lot of cynicism involved in that, but there's also sincerity in it. If you just look at it with a pure heart and a pure mind, you can get a lot of energy out of that. And when you're around happy, inspirational people that are successful, it makes you feel better. And you get inspired. And if you act on that inspiration, your life will be more fulfilled. And it's not just inspirational in terms of financial success, but in terms of doing difficult things.
I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. That's what I would say. I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. That's what I would say.
And I think that there's a lot of people out there that think somehow or another you're gonna get to some place where you're living in silk sheets and you're getting your toes done, someone's dropping grapes into your mouth. I don't want that. That guy's not gonna be happy. He's gonna be bored. An hour into the grape, get those fucking grapes away from me. Stop painting my toes. What am I doing in this bed? I gotta do something. The human organism, the animal that we are, needs constant stimulation because it evolved trying to find food and escape enemies. And this is the great joy that you have in taking care of your children. You can protect your children from the elements and the enemies. And it's also the great sadness that you see in losers. When I see a loser, I see some guy who's 43 years old, who lives in his parents' basement, and he fucking hates the world. I'm like, that was a baby that somebody just gave shitty nutrients to, food or in thoughts and ideas and examples. And this kid developed these horrible, self-defeating patterns of behavior that have led them to this point where they're this person with no future and no idea of how to get out of this rut and probably never will escape it. And might just wind up sucking on a gun.
I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. That's what I'm saying. I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck.
That's what I would say. This is the world that we live in today, and I think part of that world is because we have been fed this line of horseshit that you're supposed to seek comfort. And I don't think you are. I think you're supposed to seek lessons, and you're supposed to seek difficult tasks. Because if I just think, well, tomorrow I'm just gonna coast and eat Twinkies and watch TV. Oh, hello sadness, my old friend. Hello depression. Because when you're not doing anything, you feel like shit. And that's just a part of being a human being. And we can pretend that we're something other than what we really are. And we can pretend, nah, me, man, I'm just cool, just chilling, doing nothing. Bullshit. You're a fucking human. You evolved from the fucking hundreds of thousands of years of hunters and gatherers and people that were struggling. Human reward systems are carved deeply into your DNA. And if you don't respect that, if you don't respect the mechanism of happiness and fulfillment and what you really need to do in order to feel satisfied in life, camaraderie, family, struggle, learning are imperative. And part of being a person.
I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. That's what I would say. I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. That's what I would say.
I'm pretty fucking happy.
Happy as fuck. That's what I would say.
I'm pretty fucking happy.
I'm happy as fuck. That's what I would say.
I'm pretty fucking happy.
Yo! MAC! Make some noise! We did it! Duma. Bloomer! Full bloom, baby. How y'all feeling out there? Matt Carter says I'm happy as fuck. You, MAZ, get to consciously decide. Cause it's a choice. And you get to decide.
This, I submit, is the freedom of real education.
Hey!
Of learning how to be well-adjusted. You get to consciously decide
what has meaning, and what doesn't. What has meaning,
and what doesn't. Hey, you get to consciously decide what has meaning, 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 what has meaning. Hey!
You get to decide what to worship.
What?
Because here's something else that's weird but true. In the day-to-day trenches of adult life, there is actually no such thing as atheism. There is no such thing as not worshiping. Everybody worships. The only choice we get is what to worship. Compelling reason for maybe choose some sort of God or spiritual type thing to worship. Be it JC or Allah, be it Yahweh or the Wiccan mother god, or the Four Noble Truths or some inviolable set of ethical principles, is that pretty much anything else you worship will eat you alive. If you worship money and things, if they are where you tap real meaning in life, then you will never have enough. Never feel you have enough. It's the truth. Worship your own body and beauty and sexual allure, and you will always feel ugly. And when time and age start showing, you will die a million deaths before they finally plant you. On one level, we all know this stuff already. It's been codified as myths, proverbs, cliches, epigrams, parables. The skeleton of every great story. What has meaning?
Oh! What doesn't? You get to consciously decide what has meaning. And what doesn't? You get to consciously decide what has meaning. What has meaning? 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 Aye. What has meaning? What has meaning? You get to consciously decide what has meaning. What has meaning? What has meaning? What has meaning?
The whole trick is keeping the truth up front in daily consciousness. Worship power, you will end up feeling weak and afraid. And you will need ever more power over others to numb you to your own fear. Worship your intellect, being seen as smart, you will end up feeling stupid, a fraud, always on the verge of being found out. Look, the insidious thing about these forms of worship is not that they're evil or sinful. It is that they are unconscious. They are default settings. They're the kind of worship you just gradually slip into. Day after day, getting more and more selective about what you see and how you measure value without ever being fully aware that that's what you're doing. And the so-called real world will not discourage you from operating on your default settings. Because the so-called real world of men and money and power comes merrily along on the fuel of fear and anger and frustration and craving and the worship of self. Our own present culture has harnessed these forces in ways that have yielded extraordinary wealth and comfort and personal freedom. The freedom all to be lords of our own tiny skull-sized kingdoms, alone at the center of all creation. This kind of freedom has much to recommend it. But of course there are all different kinds of freedom. And the kind that is most precious, you will not hear much talked about much in the great outside world of wanting and achieving and displaying. The really important kind of freedom involves attention and awareness and discipline. And being able truly to care about other people and to sacrifice for them over and over in myriad petty little unsexy ways every day. That is real freedom. That is being educated and understanding how to think. The alternative is unconsciousness, the default setting, the rat race, the constant gnawing sense of having had and lost something in it. I know that this stuff probably doesn't sound fun and breezy or grandly inspirational the way a commencement speech is supposed to sound. What it is, as far as I can see, is the capital T truth with a whole lot of rhetorical niceties stripped away. You are, of course, free to think of it whatever you wish. But please don't just dismiss it as some finger-wagging Dr. Laura sermon. None of this stuff is really about morality, or religion, or dogma, or big fancy questions of life after death. The capital T truth is about life before death. It is about the real value of a real education, which has almost nothing to do with knowledge and everything to do with simple awareness. Awareness of what is so real and essential, so hidden in plain sight all around us all the time, that we have to keep reminding ourselves over and over, this is water. 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 is water.
What? Hey!
This is water.
It is unimaginably hard to do this. To stay conscious and alive in the adult world, day in and day out. Which means yet another grand cliche turns out to be true. Your education really is the job of a lifetime. And it commences now.
What has meaning?
And what doesn't? You get to consciously decide.
What has meaning?
And what doesn't? You get to consciously decide.
What has meaning? 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 What has meaning?
Hey, what has meaning? What has meaning? What has meaning? What has meaning? Hey, what has meaning? What has meaning? What has meaning? You get to consciously decide. What has meaning? Hey, 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 you get to consciously decide. Oh! Whoa! MAZ, make some noise for yourself. You get to consciously decide. And that's the capital T truth. And that's the big secret, baby. You get to decide. It's up to you. Doom or bloom. Which would you rather? Which would lead to the better outcome for your life? For the story that you are writing? For the movie in which you are starring that is your life? You get to consciously decide. And that's that, baby. That is that. Full bloom! Make some noise for yourselves. Thank you to everyone who's been here. Gustavo Gomez says, pick carefully, friends. That's a very good point. Pick carefully, baby. Choose life. What? What? Ow! What's my thing? What? Hey, that was good. Yeah. Wow, well there you go. That was emotional. That was epic. That was joyful. That was Doomer to Bloomer, a 3-part Meaningwave Odyssey. If you want to enjoy that adventure in full form, you can go check out the playlist. The link is in the description of this broadcast. There's a playlist on Spotify. Did I port it over to other platforms? I can't remember. It's definitely on Spotify anyway. And that will have the full session. Shouts out to Diverting Tales, who went through the Meaningwave archives and pulled all those songs together. That Meaningwave archivist. Thanks to everyone who's been here. Joyful activities, epic activities. We seem to be slowly but surely 204 streams in. We seem to be almost starting to develop some kind of rhythm, schedule thing, maybe. Does it seem that on Mondays we do epic Meaningwave live shows? We do seem to. That does seem to have been going on for a while. On Mondays, epic Meaningwave live shows. I don't know why. On Wednesdays, we have a book club. We have the audio book club on Wednesdays. We're currently reading Dune and playing dope tracks on Dune. I mean, that's sick. And let's look forward to more things being, introduced. Every Friday we drop new music. That's definitely a thing. Apart from the Friday that's just gone. And I didn't mention anything, just see if anyone would notice and get annoyed and
Most people didn't. Some people did. No one got annoyed. Everyone's very nice. But that's because I was moving distributor. We're moving the entire Meaningwave and Akira The Don catalog from one distributor to another distributor. Distributors is the people that put your music in stores, basically, you know. It used to be that you needed, you had to have a record deal, otherwise your music wouldn't get in stores. Nowadays, you can hire a distributor. It's pretty sweet. And then, once you get your clout levels crazy, or, popping, then you can pick and choose your distributors, and you can get ones that have more clout themselves. Anyway, we've just moved distributor. So if anyone sees anything funky in Spotify or iTunes or anything with the music, do let me know. Weird shit can happen when you're moving distributors, apparently. I haven't noticed anything myself, but it did mean because we were moving distributor that we couldn't drop anything on Friday, because that would have confused the systems or some shit, because they were moving shit. But this Friday, we've got Meaningwave Masterpieces 2 dropping. 20-track album. 20-track album, 20 unique voices. Most of the songs are new. Some of the songs have existed before, but those that have existed before, they have been remixed and remastered and glorified and made beautiful. Needed doing, baby. It needed doing. Michael Dodrell says there are 38 people following the Doomer to Bloomer playlist on Spotify. Let's bump that up. Yeah, everybody listen to this broadcast. Go check out that Doomer to Bloomer playlist on Spotify. And all the Spotify playlists get updated with regularity. As new songs are added to the Meaningwave universe that make sense, they go in there, and as new concepts and things get rejigged. Actually, if you're following the JBP playlist on Spotify, you'll notice that just got completely updated. We'll be doing a stream to kind of publicize that fact soon, but that playlist is now has all of the Peterson JBP Wave existing songs on there in an order that makes sense narratively, which is pretty epic. Again, shouts out to Diverting Tales for putting that together. And you can also look forward to new JBP Wave very soon, by Jove. Whoa! That's right, baby. You can also look forward to 20 new Alan Watts songs appearing on all streaming platforms in just a couple of weeks. As promised, those who backed the Watts Wave campaign, we had a final tier on that campaign that said, okay, if we hit 20k, we're gonna turn Watts Wave 2, the classic mix, into a full album. And that's what's happened, and it's ended up being 20 songs. They're epic, they're beautiful. It may well be the best thing we've done yet. It's very, very epic. Finished it today, and look forward to you hearing that, by Jove. Also, you'll be getting your vinyl very, very soon. The vinyl has pressed. The vinyl has made its way through customs. Vast boxes of it have started appearing at Don Studios on a daily basis. Vans pull up, unloading giant boxes. So those will be on their way to you very, very soon. By Jove. Hey. Matt Crittenden says vinyl hype. Yeah. YouTube Hero Alex says 20 songs on Watts Wave 2K, achieved at 20k on the Indiegogo campaign in this year 2020. That's a good point. Lots of 20s. Lots of 20s there. There's 20 tracks on Meaningwave Masterpieces too as well. But it's also got a 2 in the title. How about that, eh? Well, we did promise epic activities and nothing but. I want to thank everyone who supported during this epic gig. It was an epic gig, right? It was like Madison Square Garden, and you get to just like turn up. Just turn up, baby. Just step right in. Very epic. Thank you, Chris Olin. Thank you, Luke Brubaker. Welcome to the channel, new member Luke Brubaker. Welcome to the channel in Madness Lies Sanity. I thought you were already here, but anyway. And thank you, Love Coach. And thank you, Alec Morand. And thank you, Lynx Nathan and Rick Adelsey. God bless you guys. If you want to support the wave, you know what to do, baby. Make it beautiful. Head on over to meaningwave.com and get yourself some Meaningwave apparel. Hey, you could get something like the shirt that I'm wearing. It says, choose meaning, choose meaning. You can choose meaning today, baby, at meaningwave.com. You can also get shirts that say nice things like, it's a beautiful day to be alive, what, and grateful to the gods. Amongst other things, I had a load of Meaningwave apparel turn up at the crib today. It's so good. It's so choice. I'm just going to be straight up wearing Meaningwave garms forever, baby. Jeffy says, your MF Doom mix is the bomb. Can I freestyle to it via Twitch? Yo, ain't nobody stopping you, baby. They ain't my beats. You should definitely get your freestyle off over that MF Doom mix. That is indeed a hype mix. Shouts out to MF Doom all day. One of the notes I gave to my boy, James, for Sonic references, well, it's good we discovered. It's good we discovered that before we got out of here. All right, baby. Thank you for being here. Let's get in with a final by 5 by Jove. Ooh, that's a nice background. Hey.
Good.
3, 2, 1. What? Sweet dreams, baby. We out of here. Meaningwave Radio 24/7 is on the second channel, by the way, if you all want to hang out and carry on being wavy. And we've also got a Discord you can join. The links for all of these things are in the description of the broadcast. Sweet dreams. God bless, and thank you for being here. Mwah.